So can you give me a thumbs up to make sure you guys are still listening to me? And there we go. Thank you. I apologize for all the messing around here. As I said, new platform. Not really sure how to confirm with the Mac, but it's working now. So thank you for your time. I like to be mindful of everybody's time and my time as well, because then I get to play with my daughter. But I'll try to go as quick as possible. And there is a few things that I want to go over before we start the presentation. So mainly, I'm assuming most of the companies here are in the cleaning business. So we will try to be very specific for that, but we need to be mindful of a few differences, right? We still have different provinces in here. So I cannot speak specifically for Alberta, specifically for Ontario or New Brunswick. We have people from everywhere. Sometimes we have people from USA as well. We don't do business with USA yet, but people come. So just be mindful of that. But if you have questions, send me the questions. I'll read the questions. I'll try to get to the questions by the end. Otherwise, my dyslexia will not help you out. But I'll try before I end, go over to all the questions. If time is short, I always get back by email. I always get. So it keeps saved, all the message that you send me, either private or in the group. Then I can see the message and I have your email. So I'll follow up tomorrow or by Friday with the answer. Okay, so I always promise everybody if you have a question and I don't get to the answer on the live presentation, I'll get back to you by email. All right, and we also have different business structure here. So most of cleaning business start like we start doing the cleaning, then we get busy, which is good. Then we hire somebody, then we hire another one. Then when we see have more clients, then we are super busy and we have 28 employees, right? That's exactly actually one of the cleaning companies that I know is exactly like that, how it started. But sometimes people don't take the time to organize their corporation or they still working as a solopreneur. Sometimes they just have a partnership. So there is different structure in here. Depending on the structure you have for your company, there are more options for optimizing taxes or changing some revenue. Like there is more opportunities to work around, I would say. But I'll try to cover everything in between. That's what I'll try to do. Right. So I don't like to talk about us. I rather my clients talk about me, but you need to at least know who we are, right? So we are based in Lethbridge, Alberta. Some people don't know where Lethbridge is. It's like 2 hours south of Calgary. Uh, we work with the whole Canada. So except Quebec, we still don't work with Quebec. Few technical things there, but the rest of Canada we do work. So if you're in Alberta or New Brunswick or Halifax, Ontario, we can serve you no matter what. And if I could say something again, I don't want to spend the time talking about us, but if I could say something is we are really entrepreneur here. Like we are not your regular accountant firm, right? I have several business. My business partner has another business as well. Um, we try to put the shoes on our client's shoes, right? So when I'm telling you something or advising you in something, it's because I really think it's the best for entrepreneur or for somebody starting up or for somebody in your situation. I have, for instance, one of the companies that I have is an immigration company. We almost went bankrupt during COVID, right? Like borders were closed, everything was closed. We took the time, we rebuilt the company. We are more profitable than we were pre-COVID. So we know what we are doing and we know the technical stuff if you need as well. But we care for the business. That's what I would say. I really have a passion, and I know Sergio has as well, a passion for business. We like processes, we like dealing with hardship, we like dealing with complicated stuff. So you will be in good hand here. And I always put a point in there. It seems a little bit biased, but one of the mistakes that many small business do, is they delay to start working with an accountant. Sometimes they think they need to be big enough or bigger than they are to work with an accountant, or they think the cost is going to be too much, and then they miss opportunity for tax saving, for structuring their business, for doing some technical stuff that would put their business at advantage, right? So I know sounds biased, doesn't have to be with me. If you trust another company, go for it. But I would not like working with an accountant. It makes a lot of difference. Like I had some bad experience with accounting firms. That's why I opened my own. And I would advise the earlier we start is the best. But I know it sounds biased, but it's the reality, right? So let's go. The other thing that we do here that might help you out, and I always put here before I start the presentation, I promise that's the last one before going to the presentation. Uh, we try to serve your business. That's our mindset here. We want to serve your business. So we might not be the person to help you out. Let's say you are buying group insurance for your business, or maybe you just want to do like you want to sell your business because you are retiring. I will be able to connect you with somebody. So if you have a labor issue and you don't know exactly how to solve that, we have lawyers that we can connect you with. Even mortgage broker, like you want to buy a business or you want to buy real estate to run your business, I will connect you with people. And I'm a licensed realtor as well, so I have good connections everywhere that I can help you out. Sometimes I don't make a dime on the connection, but I get energized. I really love helping people out. I know it sounds cheesy, but what goes around comes around. So if you have any question you don't know who to ask for, ask to me, and I'll figure out a way to help you out. Probably I will find a way. All right. So today, not technical stuff. I don't want to go in the button notes and things like that. I want to give you perspective, and that's what I mean. I understand how we can go from one of my business. We started from $50 investment, and we run like 500K in revenue now. Just two people working on that business. We know what it takes to grow a business, but we also know that we are not good in everything. So I'm trying to give you perspective because we get busy running the business, we get busy doing the daily stuff. We don't have the time, and I know we don't have the time to just sit back and say, okay, what do I need to do to scale my business 10 times? Takes a lot of time and energy because you have a lot of fires to put out, right? So I'm gonna try to give you some perspective. And some of the things you say, well, that's too complicated to me, or that's not applicable to me. Think about how you can change it up a little bit and implement in your business. But right now, my goal is to give you perspective and some tools to think about it, right? So let's go. See, I talk too much. I talk too much. I should have talked like 5 minutes. But anyway, I'll get to that. So first things first, it's hard for you to keep thinking about what is deductible, what is not deductible, and things like that, because you are not an accountant, or maybe you are an accountant, then it's a different situation. But if you're not an accountant running a cleaning company, it's hard for you to understand what would be a good tax credit, what would be a nice deductible, and things like that. But what I want you to have is the mindset. Okay, if you are not sure, assume it is a deductible, assume it is there is some tax credit, assume you can do a write-off, and then talk to your accountant when tax is due. Like we don't talk to our people once a year, but if you are the kind of just the people that you see an accountant once a year, at least save everything, take the notes, and then when you meet, you say, okay, I went to Florida to Disney, and those are my expenses. Yeah, that doesn't really apply to you, all right? Oh, I put a online webinar and I spend this amount of money. Can I do that? You know, like if you're not sure, just record. I'll get to a point here where you could use technology to do that, but if you are busy with or not good with technology, go to dollar store, buy a notebook, and just take notes, right? This is my receipt. This is what I did. This is my receipt. This is what I did. And when is the time to do your taxes or your corporate taxes? Give to the accountant, and they will figure out what could be applied or not. But here is some examples, right? Like when you have a cleaning company, you probably have a car that you drive around, so you could deduct a fuel mileage from the customer and to the customer. You know what I mean? From home and to the customer. You could also think about some products that are more tax friendly, let's say. I don't want to say that they are deductible or not deductible because there's some trick in there, but they're more tax friendly. So if you're using uniform, if you're doing a bunch of other things, it might impact your taxes more than just saying you bought a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like, so you might be buying a uniform, whatever that is, for your employees or for your team, and if you input that as a, I don't know, office expense, as I see sometimes, or just a regular purchase with whatever other name, you might be missing out a little bit of taxes rebate and tax credit in there. So it is important for you to figure things out. There is no way that you're gonna figure out like all categories and all the taxes codes and things like that. But if you have the right mindset, just take the notes, at least start there. Take the notes and organize your receipt, right? So if you're buying something that you think could be employee uniform, just don't put as t-shirt, right? Like something like that. That's the mindset that we are giving here. That presentation is going to be recorded, so you're going to have more of the details in here. I'm going to go just over a few of those so you have an idea. But the other thing that some cleaning companies don't do, that I see sometimes they just miss out. You could take a room of your home, or a space in your home, like 10% of your home, and that's your office space now. Doesn't mean that you need to get people into, doesn't mean you need to be open to the business. You work from home. That's the time where you do your invoicing, that's the time that you do your planning, that's the time you do your marketing, that's the time you do some prospecting, and like you work from home. So some people, when they are running a cleaning company, sometimes they're not super well organized yet. They miss on that because they say, well, I'm working in the client's home, so that doesn't apply to me. You could use that as long as you're doing a little bit of work from home. So that's something that easy to achieve and easy to get it done, right? The other thing that you could and actually should is to pay attention to your market. And I know that's not actually accountant related, but that's financial related, and I think that's important. I have clients here in the cleaning company that they have 45% margin, and I would say 30% net profit, but the average is 10 to 15. So there are ways that you could improve your bottom line, either working a better price strategy or optimizing your taxes or optimizing scheduling. There are ways, right? And I'm going to go over a few of those. But one of the things that I always advise people to pay attention is to their market. Sometimes we are too concerned with our competitors, right? So let's say I'm in Lethbridge and I'm cleaning company A that is cleaning company B. Then I keep comparing those guys. If they do this ad, I'm going to do this ad. If they try to work with this business, I'm going to try to work with similar business. And then start copying people too much and you miss out on the opportunity. So try to watch the market. There are always stats over there. If you don't know where to start, just go chat GPT and start there. But let's say you are in Alberta or here in Lethbridge and you start watching a big company in Ontario, maybe their perspective and the way that they work will give you some inputs as well in how to work, in how to organize, in how to promote, and things like that. So this is one of the things, but the other thing is try to watch for financial benchmarks. There is always stats out there. There are organizations for everything. There are organizations for bow hunting, for cleaning companies, for bike riders, for everything. So there must be one of organization or a journal or something where you can get stats from your market, and then you we use that as optimizer, right? So let's say the stats is 10-15%, because it is a very competitive market, but 10-15% net profit is the benchmark. Watch out your net profit. If you are below that, I would use as a yellow flag, not red flag yet, but yellow flag, right? I need to see what's going on in my operations so I can optimize, because I know we get busy. Oh, I need to buy this, buy that, talk to this client, there is a cancellation. We get confused. But if you have a benchmark, you have a guide, right? I'm not saying copy what people are doing, but use the stats and optimize from there. Like, I know most of my competitors are not as efficient as I am with the accounting. We are used we buy accounting firms that are retiring. Their processes are it's unbelievable. They are still doing taxes for their clients on Excel spreadsheets sometimes, and I'm not kidding. Like, they are actually doing that. They are not even using software that's proper for that. So you should watch your market, and that will tell you if you should be optimizing or not, right? So this is what I mean for financial benchmark. If you don't have all these stats, find some stats that you can, like market share, net operation, average revenue. Those things should be easier to find. Use that as a guide. Get your board and start doing those things and work towards that. And it seems silly, but it is very likely that you are not paying attention to that right now. When you start paying attention to that level of detail, you be more careful with the decisions. So one thing is no snowball to another, right? I'm not saying there is a silver bullet, but if you take everything that we are talking here and try to organize to apply to your company, I think you see some good results. I have done in all my companies, and I think you could implement in your business as well. So one of the examples here is, if you know um, how much is like the net profit for this company and things like that. You know how much you could save for supply. You know the average that they are charging or should be charging for pre-construction cleaning and things like that, right? So um, one of the clients that we helped a long time ago was financial advisor, and we were able to see on some organization that they had there, like body organization. I forgot the name of the body that regulate this narrow. They have a bunch of stats there. So you might have a cleaning supply that is so big that they have a bunch of stats and things like that. But that's something that will give you some input. So let's say you are charging pre-construction on the low end of 50 cents. You know you could bump it up a little bit. Of course, depends on your market, depends on the builder that you have and things like that. But I think the most important thing here is not the number itself, it's the number compared to you, so you can use as a guide. So financial benchmark is important. It's hard to find sometimes, depends on the niche. Like for farms, it's pretty hard to find uh, stats for smaller farmers, right? Big farmers is easy, but it's hard to find for smaller ones, like a family run business and things like that. So you might have some ideas. Use this as a financial guideline for you, because I'm telling you, if you are crazy paranoid about your net profit, it will snowfall in other areas. You think twice when hiring, you think twice when buying, you think better of managing your stocks, because now you're concerned with your net profit. And I think every company should be concerned with net profit. Sometimes people get in that vibe like big tax or revenue is what matters. We'll be profitable one day. That's not how it works for us little guys. I think you should be concerned with profit, because if you're profitable, at least you can scale. But if you have a big revenue with big losses, you're not going to be able to scale that, because the more you scale, the bigger your damage, right? So be careful with that. So financial benchmarks could be get could become even a dashboard later. But start easy. Know at least the general profit for your city, the general revenue, how big the companies are, how many employees they have, and use that as a guide to know how good or how far you are from your goal. And then I'm telling you, you're going to see some results. The other thing is seasonal business is always complicated. Cleaning is not much seasonal as like real estate's not totally seasonal anymore, but we still feel a little bit of fluctuation, right? So you could, for instance, think about, and I'm saying that so you can think about. I'm not saying I know how to run your business, but I have done this in segments that people never thought about it, like immigration and real estate. It's pretty rare that we can have recurring revenue, but there is always some strategy that we could apply, right? So one of the things that you could do is try to figure out if you have recurring revenue for your business. Because I know most of the time you go there, do the work, get paid, and things like that. But if you figure out a way to put, let's say, an annual contract with a builder or even with a residential business, right? Okay, you're gonna pay me monthly, but that's an annual agreement. Now they are binding by an agreement, right? They have to follow this agreement. So at least for the next 12 months, you're gonna have that revenue coming to your company. It's different when you do a cleaning now and wait for them to see, oh, you're gonna call me, you're not gonna call me, and whatever, right? So try to do an agreement, and the way that you do an annual agreement is giving some incentives, right? Could be a discount, could be a upgraded service, could be something. So if you have a builder or an office or something, try to not work on the daily or on task. Try to work in a recurring revenue. At least formalize that as they understand that's annual commitment. People sometimes are always looking for discount. So if you're working with my firm now and you are paying me to do the taxes every time that you need to do taxes, that's a fee. If you work with me annually, I'm going to give you 20% discount because now I'm managing your business. I know your business better. I know the stress that I'm going to have or not in tax season. I can optimize on my side so I can pass it on this discount to you. So if somebody asks you for a discount, you say, well, cannot give much of discount, but here's the thing: we could do an annual agreement, and in doing so, I can give you 10 or 15% discount because I know there is at least a commitment in here, right? You could even go further and try to put this in out of deposit because most people don't take the time to go out of the deposit. Once it's set up, they don't want to do the work to go there and this do that and undo that, right? So this is just one idea, but think about something different as well. So let's say when you are working with season, um, I'm not very familiar with the peaks in your business, but I imagine like Thanksgiving must be a big one, Christmas must be a big one. So you'll be busy no matter what during this time, probably, I'm assuming, right? Because it's many people are looking for. But maybe in the summer when everybody's camping, kids at home, people are traveling, they don't really care much. That'll be the time to give maybe spot on cleaning. Maybe you could do some specific package like a quick cleanup or something like that. At least you keep running almost the same cash flow during the down season, right? And the other thing that you need to be careful with that is save some money for the down season, but everybody should be doing that anyway. But that's another strategy, right? If you know you're going to be slowing down this summertime, just set aside in your bank account some money for this downside, and you're going to be a little bit better. This is one of the examples that I give here: summertime, move in, move out, annual contracts. Is basically what I said here. It's on this next slide. Those are again ideas. I'm not pretending that I know your business super well. I'll be pumped if you book a call with me. It's free tell me everything about your business. I can help you with consulting. I love that. Not doing a business plan for you for free, but I can help you out. I don't mind. I have helped a lot of people open and running business, but those again are ideas. So maybe the example that I gave you for the summertime is very stupid, but spiking you some ideas. Okay, that might not work, but this might work, right? You know your business better than I know. The other thing is payroll management, and that should even be looked up by a lawyer. I'll get to that. But payroll management is it's another thing that gets people confused a little bit. So most of the time, you pay your employees by the hour. Most of the time, I'm not saying that's all the case, but most of the time you pay the cleaners by the hour, and you don't think they can do like much more because what I'm saying is if they work more, you pay more, right? So they work by the hour. I want that client to be so overwhelmed, so impressed, so amazed by the cleaning, but then I need to pay like 5 hours more. That's too much for the price that the client's paying me. So you could work it out. I'm not saying that's easy to implement, but you could work it out. Some kind of bonus for your employees. So let's say you are doing a cleaning in an acreage, and that is a bunch of organization that could be done, not much of cleaning. But now, if they're taking the time to organize a few things, now they're not taking the time to clean, right? So maybe you can tell your employees or your casual workers, something like that. Okay, you do the cleaning, you're gonna be paid by the hour. I'm gonna pay you an extra $50, not $50 per hour, a bonus, just something on top, and not another $50 for you to give a little bit of touch up there, organize, tidy up. Can you do that for us? The client has not requested. You're paying a little bit more for your employee, but not much more because now they work, let's say, 8 hours, $50, not much if you think about the hour. But we'll give them a little bit more incentive to do that. It may become a habit. They will start doing that. And I'm positive your client will love that and they'll come back. So it's way better to have recurring clients than finding new ones. So that'll be some strategy in there, right? So that's what I'm trying to explain by this explanation here. You can think of in a way to incentivize your employee, your team member to do more for the client, and it doesn't need to reflect in paying more hours. I say that because we are so used to working by the hours with this kind of environment that sometimes we don't think about something else. And that, if you don't have the $50 extra to pay, it could be a basket from Costco, right? Like, okay, if you do the tidy up, I'll give you a gift card from Costco. I'll go there. Just be nice, or you try to figure out whatever you can do. I think you get there. One of my companies, when I started, I couldn't pay much more. So I told my employees, work whenever you want. If you want to find another job and work with me, as long as you get things done, I don't mind. And I'm still like that most of the time. Depends on the business that I do, but I don't really care much about people's time as long as they get things done. And that is way better than paying more for these employees in the beginning because I didn't have much money to compete with big guys, right? But they could do some side gig. They could even find another job and work with me. They were flexible. I wasn't pushed, so it was a lot of indirect benefit in there. And you could do kind of the same, but thinking about payroll, the other thing I would advise is trying to. Sorry, it's changing my microphone here. The other thing that I would advise is be careful when you do your scheduling and booking and things like that, because you're still liable to pay statutory holiday. And the other thing, I think I'll get in the slide in there, but if I don't, at least I mention, be careful when you have a team member that you are calling on casual. but they have fixed hours working with your equipment, reporting to you, obeying specific scheduling, things like that. That is considered a payroll employee if they go to court. So talk to the lawyer, try to figure things out. Maybe spending 350 with a dollar, but 350 with a lawyer will save you a lot of money down the road. So just be very, very careful with that. But talking about payroll management, you could figure things out, how to spice it up their payroll without paying more by the hour so it can reflect in customer. Try to be careful with the strict scheduling and work hours so they are not considered employees, like you do need to pay them employment insurance, payroll, blah blah blah, and all the other things. So this is very, very important. Sorry, let me go back to the other one here. Too many screens at the same time. The other thing that most people don't think about until it's too bad is the insurance. And if they do, they just get, like whatever insurance out there, like they go to Zen Insurance, buy something, and life goes on. When you're doing liability insurance, there are so many things that you need to consider. I would really talk to an expert in the case. If you don't know anybody, I might have somebody. I know they work with liability insurance. I'm not sure if they work for cleaning companies liability insurance, but I could ask. Um, you have like theft that could happen, damage that could happen. You have fall from your team member, your employee. There are so many other things that you could be liable for because you're doing the work. So this is very, very, very important. So people don't think that as a savings, but it is for two reasons. First is deductible, right? You're gonna claim expense on that, but there is nothing worse than working your whole year to make things like at least break even, and now you have to pay $10,000-15,000 to a customer because they took you to a court and things like that. So it's not worth it. And most liability insurances are very affordable. Put that in your costs, organize the pricing structure, but don't go without that. It is very important. I wanted to say that, but also it really works for the other way around as well. I'm not sure if I have another slide for that, but when I'm talking about insurance, there is the liability insurance, and that is like the group insurance for your employees. So let's say you are competing, like Ontario is very competitive, way more competitive than Lethbridge for some areas. Cleaning is one of those, right? So if you cannot afford more for per hour, maybe you could afford a group insurance, right? Talk to an advisor, figure things out, pay that annually, get it done. And now your employees, your team members, now they have insurance. It's another benefit. Sure, they don't make as much as they could on the other provider or other competitor, but now it's a benefit that they might keep in mind and make them stay in your business, right? So when I'm talking about insurance, that is the liability insurance. That to me, it's a must-have. You should have that. The other one is thinking about insurance as a cash flow optimization. Like you're gonna have more expenses now. You have less profitable, less net profit to pay tax and things like that. But now you also have more employees that are happy and staying, right? So it's a combination of both. And I mentioned here as well, I don't want to stay that long. It's 40 minutes, sorry. I'll get you there. This is what I mentioned, contractor versus employee classification. I mentioned the other slide, but that's what I meant. There is one example here. So if you have part-time cleaners using, for example, of course, you're going to talk to the lawyer and get it to the detail, but this is just one example. People misclassify sometimes, and That's not considered fraud. It could be a mistake, but now you have to pay the price, right? So let's say you do have an employee that should be considered like part-time employee, payroll, employment insurance, and all the other things there, like the payroll and everything, and you are not doing that. If CRA figures that out and they think you should be doing, you might be able to pay that for retroactive, right? For previous years. So that's a big one that you should talk to the lawyers and figure out how you can really protect your business, protect yourself, and make sure you are by the code, let's say, with the employees, because that could be a big one. Like you might have a great year, your profit is good and everything is good, but then you have to pay for the previous year for that employee payroll and things like that. That's gonna hurt. I have had clients that did that. It hurts. All right. So the other thing, this is very, very important, and people most of the time they overlook that, and that's not only for a cleaning company, but the more organized you are, the more you're gonna save with accounting in general, right? Because accounting, it's more organization of clients messy than the actual doing the tax. That's basically the job. Getting things organized by the code, probably in the right category and things like that, takes time, and the client will pay for that because we work by the hour, right? So the more organized you are, the better for you. Organized could be a notebook with all the notes. I'm hoping you don't do that, but you could use something like Zero or QuickBooks Online. I'm not a fan of QuickBooks, and sometimes they give me a hard time because they are watching and commenting as well. But I'm not a fan. QuickBooks not my favorite. Does the job, but it's not my favorite. I would go with Zero, even Sage. Sage is more archaic, but it's still good, better than QuickBooks. But there's more to that. Like you could use like an app like Jobber to do your invoicing, to organize the schedule for your team. You could take photos inside of the app for before and after and things like that. You don't realize, but that organization that most of business owners don't want to do, and I'm guilty of that as well because I like running business, I don't like organizing the business, but it's a necessary evil. We need to do that, right? So the more organized you are, more money you're gonna save by your year end. And I'm saying everything, like I don't know if you have a CRM or not, but you should, and your CRM should have all the information possible: kid's name, date you went there, cleaning you have done, how tall they are, if they like flowers, if they don't like flowers, if they complimented someday because they like the smell, something. But if you do that, you're gonna see how much you can increase your business just because you really know your client. The better you know your client, the more you're gonna see the results. But think of this is broader, right, than just accounting. But at least for accounting, do all your invoices online with Zero or QuickBooks or whatever you want. Uh, Reconcile the payment and things like that, because it's one less thing that people will have to worry about, like try to figure out with payments that and these and whatever, right? So if you don't do that, the bookkeeper or the accountant will have to do that. You're gonna pay the price. So sometimes people are more concerned in saving taxes or how I can get my taxes down and things like that. If they were a little bit more organized, they would save in accounting fees. That would balance things out a little bit. Don't worry, we are not super expensive. We work with a small business for real, so we're not expensive. But we know it adds to the cost, right? There's so many things that we have to pay. Um, the other thing that we need to think about when running the business is how to try to scale. Every business owner wants to scale the business, but there is too many decisions in there. And the one takeaway I want you to get from that topic is Sure, you know how to scale your business. I know that. Like you know cleaning, you know people, you know business. There is no secret, right? Sell more and serve better. There is nothing in between. Like the more clients you have, more pipeline. The more you serve, the more the return. Easy said, not easy done. All right. So if you are thinking about scaling your business, I really think you need to take a moment, go through all your finance. And I'm telling you, if your finance is a mess, if you don't know exactly how profitable you are per client or per job, your net profit, your projected revenue, and things like that, I don't think you are ready to scale because you're just ready to put more hands to work, but you don't know if that's the best solution for you, right? Sometimes it's better to stop doing some services because they are damaging the business, right? But know your numbers, get organized. But why do I talk about scaling is because two things needs to happen. You need to step out of the operation, and that hurts. And you need to be ready for a downsize a little bit. Because when you're scaling, it means that you need either more people or more systems in place. Like my immigration company is just my wife and I. I don't have anybody helping right now. We have an assistant now. We just hired an assistant, but we didn't have anybody after COVID. Like we used to have 5 employees, then COVID almost bankrupt us, and now we have just my wife and I. But I'm super paranoid about automation. Like I have so many tools that people don't even know how to use it, and I put them together. And I connect with Zapier, and I use ClickUp, I use HubSpot, I use everything that I can. So I spend money with tools so I can be very very efficient running the company. That most people would need like 5 or 6 employee. We run by ourselves, but we pay the price having tools. So you have to pay the price with tools or people, but scaling up your business will need to be taking consideration that you're going to slow down your profit a little bit. Doesn't mean you're going to make less revenue. You might be selling way more, you might have more clients, but your net profit will suffer a little bit, and that's normal. I always say that because people get paralyzed when they are doing the things that needs to scale, because revenue is going here, but net profit goes down a little bit. But that's the nature of the business, and then that compounds, right? Like it's like a compound interest. You don't see on the short term, but you see on the long term. So scaling up your business, it's a little bit more complicated topic, but I want you to perceive something that most people don't do. And like sometimes I talk to business coach that they're all about, oh, let's grow your business, scale up, and whatever. Sometimes it's not the best strategy. You are good and profitable the way you are. Good for you. Life goes on. But I know most people want to double, triple, 10x their business and things like that. You need to be ready for less net profit for a while. So, how will that play out with your personal finances? How will that play out with your employees? Can you really manage to take you out of the business for a while and let just manage, not do the work? That is a topic in itself. But the most important thing is what I highlighted here: be ready. Your net profit will suffer for sure. There is no other way around. And somebody says different, you gotta have a hard time convincing me the opposite, because it requires time and energy and tools to really scale the business, but it is worth it. But you gotta be ready. And most people stop in between because they start growing up the business, then they see the net profit is down, then they start falling back to what they used to do, right? Fire this one, stop these two, and things like that. It is sad, but it happens. All right, so I'm not going to talk much about pricing, but that's one of the things that people are always overlooking as well. So you could like just go to YouTube and look for pricing strategy and a few other things. Like my background is marketing, so I like this topic. I don't want to talk about 1 hour about it, but I would say something like that. People Don't think so different depending on the industry. So if you go to Wendy's, for instance, they don't have a medium coffee. They have the small and the large. And then say, I'm almost same price. Give me the large. And the large is like that big. I never drink that thing. And the other one will be more than enough. But our little brain tells us that it's almost the same price. Get the large one, right? And now they're making way more money because probably they're putting a little bit more extra coffee in there, and profit is better, right? So think about your price strategy. Uh, I would take like 4 or 5 hours thinking about the price. It's so important that people overlook too much. I don't know why, but I would think like, how can I increase just 10%, right, of this price? Would people feel if I increase like $5 here? Maybe not. Let's try that out. And then you do it again in another quarter, right? $2, $3, and you keep like slowly but surely increasing your profit. It's great because you are maximizing the current customer base that you have. So pricing is very, very important. So one of the things that people do most of the time, go there, they give a quote and they chart, and that's it. It creates a little bit of unbalanced and unsettlement for our clients because they don't know if next time they call you it's going to be the same price, different price, and whatever. So if you have like tiers, right, it's a great way to show customers how much they're going to pay. There is no surprise. Like for our clients, I don't like most accounting firm. They do the work, they put the hours, they organize, and then tell you, okay, here's your bill. I had some past clients telling me their experience, like they have done the taxes and got a bill for $8,000. They didn't know how much would that cost. I work differently. Like we will give you a set price. Sometimes if you're not careful on our side, we will lose a little bit on our profit, right? Because it's pretty hard that I'm gonna get to that level of details to really account for to the cents. But I'd rather have a client that is happy and will come next year and know how much they'll pay for and keep coming, right? That's my approach. So you could do the same, like you could use tiers, you could use kind of clients, but I would try to avoid hours. I would try to avoid giving a quote all the time. I would have, okay, if your house is that many square feet, that's the price, and things like that. For pre-construction, it's pretty good. You can use square feet. Uh, to price it out, and that gives a little bit more certainty on the customer side that they are paying a fair price, and you don't have a surprise if they call you to do a $2,000 2,000 square feet or 1,500 or 1,000 square feet, right? So you can balance that off, but I'm not saying you should use this or this strategy for pricing. What I'm saying is I would go back and I would go, if you have no resource whatsoever, you're starting off your company, just go to ChatGPT. I would pay the $28 for 1 month at least to get it done, and then I would cancel. I like more Claude than ChatGPT, but go there and act as a marketing manager and ask me questions to help me price it out. I work in this market, I have this many employees, this many clients, and whatever. It will ask you a few questions, and after that, it will give you a bunch of inputs. Not gonna decide for you, but it will give you a lot of guidelines that I bet you never thought about it. I know you're almost on time, but let me share you one thing that I have done with ChatGPT that is something that you could try out just for fun. I went to Claude that I use. I don't use ChatGPT. I went to Claude and told, okay, make a board of directors for me with Elon Musk, Mark Cuban, and Steve Fartnick from Elevation Church, just to balance things out. This is my business. Tell me how they would react. And it's unbelievable how they try to portray the characters of the board just for fun. But I got nice inputs from there. So you could do that, or you could talk to somebody who can help you. If you want to book with me, I can help you with that. But Pricing is very, very important because you are working with the clients that we already have to improve a little bit, little bit, little bit, and that margin stays. It's very, very important. But there are so many things that you need to think about, like their emotional perception, your profit. Is it really profitable for you or not? But pricing is something that most business owners, when they are starting up, they overlook because we get busy, and I understand that. So I'm just pointing things out. And I hope when you go away from this webinar, you, okay, yeah, that thing, I don't think I can do, but what if, right? And what if is what I'm looking for. If you think you could implement a few of those things different way, it's gold anyway, right? Um, Most people should be doing that, but they don't. So I'll point it out as well. Equipment budgeting, right? This is just some examples that I got from internet from pricing, but it's pretty amazing to me that you use a vacuum cleaning for 2 or 3 years that breaks down and you are not ready to buy another one if you this is your business, right? Like I'm an accountant. If my computer breaks down right now, I have a budget aside to $5,000 to buy another MacBook right now without even thinking, because that's my livelihood here, right? For work at least. So I don't mess around with that. So we have budget set aside to replace at least the bare minimum that we have here for equipment that is necessary, right? Sometimes we have things that we don't need to, like smartwatch and things like that. But I'm saying real equipment that we really need, you should budget for that. And budget start with intention, right? Okay, let's say I have a vacuum, let's say I have a car, let's say I have a carpet cleaning and a bunch of other things. Let's say I have a 20K in equipment. Look to your bank account, you have $0 there right now. It means you are short 20K. You don't see that now, but you're short 20K, right? So build up, okay, from every invoice that comes, I'll set aside 10%, 15%, 5%, 1%, whatever, so I can buy a vacuum when that thing breaks down. The other thing that we could do as a small business that most people overlook sometimes is most credit cards that I use, like RBC is good for that, Canadian Tire. If you are buying on credit card, you have extended warranty by default. So try to figure that out with your credit card. So if you're buying, let's say, a vacuum right now, of course, if you're buying 20 vacuums, might not be able to do that. But if you're like a small business, I don't think you have that many at the same time. But if you're starting up, buy with the credit card if it offers this opportunity to extend the warranty. You'll be surprised how much money you're gonna save. Like I bought a Dyson, thought never would have a problem, broke down in 2 weeks. I bought a brand new house with warranty. Furnace went down middle of the winter, almost burned my house down. Brand new. There was warranty and everything. Of course, the insurance and warranty pays off, but it happens, right? So organize your equipment in a way that you can replace that when the time comes and it's not a surprise to you, right? It couldn't be a surprise for you because you use that on the daily basis. That's my takeaway. The other thing that I would go very, very quick here because I talk too much, we are almost out of time here. Group insurance, as I mentioned on the other slide there for insurance, we talked about liability. Really think as group insurance as a benefit for your company because you can deduct that. And the other thing is like retention for your employees, right? Think about referral for your team. Sometimes, like I went to help a company, they had 38, I think 28 employees. Nobody would refer business. Like they never refer business. 28 people working every single day in the company. Nobody referred anybody. We had to make that intentional, right? Okay, if you bring me a customer, here is $25 in gift card from Costco, whatever, right? Start small, but start with intention. Every employee should be referring business to you. They should be on the barbecue thinking about, I think you could use our service. In cleaning, it's like taxes. Everybody need that, right? So create a culture of referral, either for referring new employees, because then they are more adjusted to the way that you work, or referring business. your employees should be referring business. If they're not referring business, it might be a lack of confidence or a lack of training. So you should figure that out, right? Um, and the other thing is, don't underestimate the power of staying connected with your customer and leads. It seems simple, but it's not, because I know we get busy running our business. We are working with new client here. There is a new project there. There is a new cleaning there. There is whatever there. We are always doing something. So it's hard for us to stop and do something. So there is one thing that you could do, like set aside one Saturday, set up 12 newsletter, save on HubSpot that is for free, and that will run forever, right? Every month there is a newsletter with tips, maybe advice, maybe some fun story or something, but at least that customer or lead right now will get 12 communication from you at least, right? And if you set another time and just give a quick call or text, that's another interaction. So don't underestimate that. I know it has nothing to do with accounting, but I like business, so that's what I'm saying. Don't underestimate the power of getting in contact. My immigration company, sometimes I talk to a client 5 years, and I mean, I talk like they come and they, oh, do you remember? Yes, I remember you. I remember your name. Of course, I don't remember it's on my database, right? But I remember everything about the customer, so they come back. Today, I was talking to a customer that I just realized like has been 3 years I'm talking to them. They come, they book a time, they consult with me, never bought a dime. Now they decided to buy, and has been 3 years. So don't underestimate that if you're thinking about scaling. And one more thing, of course, now is my promotion time, 20% off if you want to my company to serve you in your accounting needs, business needs, or whatever you have there. Again, we are for small business and with small business. You guys are my hero. Like everybody who wants to be an entrepreneur in this country is like crazy because it's everything against us. We'll still go there and do it anyway. So I like helping. Of course, we need to make money here as well, so I keep the lights on, but we are not greed. You'll be surprised how we can help you out. Okay, so talk to us, and thank you so much because I talk a lot. Sorry. Nice to have you here. If you have any questions that I didn't have the time to go through, I saw some questions in there. I'll have to reply by email probably by Friday, but I apologize not getting the time here. It's just I talk too much. Sorry about that. Sayonara. Thanks. Bye.